This is the most insane concept for a reality TV show I've ever seen.
If you really want to get off the streets, you can do.
Oh, fucking stab you up right now, dickhead. I'm in the fucking fittest, bro. Deal with it.
Probably going to stop approaching the homeless now.
Hello, you gorgeous donuts. What happens when you take the luxuries away from Britain's richest young people, including their house, their phone, their watch, their bank account, even their identification, and drop them into a random place in the middle of London where they will be homeless for the next 3 days? I'd imagine something quite severe will happen. Well, this is the concept of the reality TV show we're breaking down today. Rich Kids Go Homeless. I wonder how long they spent in the brainstorm meeting coming up with that title. Just straight to the point there. I love it. Given Virgin Island vibes, we know exactly what we're getting here. Now, you would think the goal of this show would be to kind of broaden the horizons of these rich kids, like give them a better perspective on what people less fortunate than themselves have to go through. However, that is not the case. The actual point of this show is for the rich kids to prove that homeless people are lazy and that they can become unhomeless in 3 days, which is like 72 hours. Maths ways over here. Don't worry, I've got you covered. Now, already the goal of this show and the concept is pretty mental, but today we're actually going to be breaking down the most infamous episode of Rich Kids Go Homeless. It is genuinely wild. It's full of loads of dramatic raw scenarios that I can't even believe that they've managed to catch on camera. There's one specific moment later in the episode where the crew actually have to stop filming because their entire lives are in danger. I'm not even exaggerating with that. Don't worry, you'll see what I mean. So without further ado, let's just get into this because I'm excited to break this down. So the episode begins with us meeting the rich kid that will be taking part in this experiment. He is called Kieran and he's a 23-year-old trader.
I am quite money motivated. I can earn 10,000 a day.
Today's rich kid.
Already, I know I'm in for a banging episode. I'm not judging a book by its cover, okay? I'm not. But the first thing that you say is that, yeah, I can make £10,000 a day. Put me in the Amazon rainforest, I'll still make that 10k. I'll come out leading the wolves. The wolf of Stockport right now. That's what we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. And he very much likes to flex how much money he has.
Probably say my whole wardrobe's worth about 30,000. The tracksuit, I think altogether is about 1,300.
Bloody hell. This guy basically just owns flannels. This is what this wardrobe looks like. Have you ever been into one of them shops like a flannels or an End or something like that? You walk in and you just instantly feel poor. If you're one of his friends and you go over to his house, this is how it would make you feel.
I got my teeth done in Turkey. Cost me around £4,000.
I've never seen somebody flex how much they've paid for their teeth. Is that a flex now within like Gen Z? Are we flexing our veneers now? Yeah, I actually just dropped 4k on these bad boys, look. Obviously I haven't. I don't know how it's going to fare having veneers when you're homeless, because obviously, like, to get veneers, you have to earn, like, you know, you have to have a decent living to get some veneers, unless you're an influencer and just get them gifted to you. I feel like people walking past him in the street aren't going to give him money because they're going to be like, your teeth are literally worth more than what is currently in my bank account. I've also just thought, you know, if somebody gets, like, veneers, but they get them, you know, like, they have, like, a monthly payment plan for them, does that mean that even your teeth is on finance? Because that's a pretty funny insult to say to someone. Yeah, well, at least me teeth on finance. That's like a trump card. The Uno reverse card to use in any situation. What's different about this specific episode of Rich Kids Go Homeless? In a lot of the other episodes, it's people that have like grew up with money. However, Kieran apparently is a self-made millionaire and he often spends a lot of his money also on his child and his girlfriend. Now, with Kieran, in his own words, being self-made, you would think he has a better perspective on, you know, people that are less fortunate than his current situation, and that doing this whole social experiment will actually be just to kind of appreciate what he has and just learn from people who are currently, you know, in a bad place. But no, his sole purpose for coming on this show is so that he can prove that every single homeless person is lazy.
A lot of the homeless are weak-minded and lazy. You shouldn't be like that because you're already at rock bottom and only get better, so you may as well just keep trying.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I don't know why homeless people haven't thought of that before. The only reason that I'm homeless right now is because I've got a weak mind and I'm lazy. Why have I never came to me senses before watching this? That's an awfully bold statement to say someone is homeless just because they're lazy. I'm so surprised that he has this perspective if he is really self-made and he came from, like, nothing in his own words. Because surely you would just have, like, even if you haven't been homeless, you know, like, the struggle of not having money. Maybe because from his perspective, he's came from nothing, so he thinks, like, why can't other other people do the same thing as me. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, this person might have became lucky within business. They may have had an opportunity that, you know, doesn't present itself for a lot of other people. Like, you can't just paint everyone with the same brush as what your situation's been. This is like a running theme with people who like make a lot of money, especially online, especially like on TikTok, like these gurus. They often think because something's worked for them that everybody else should follow the same path as them, but it doesn't work like that. Also, at the end of this video, we're going to do an update where Kieran is today, and genuinely it will surprise you, and it relates directly to what I just said. He also thinks that it's going to be an absolute breeze to get off the streets within 72 hours, the 3-day period he has.
You can only get better, so you may as well just keep trying.
Kieran's convinced that in just 3 nights, he can make enough money to get off the streets.
I love that they're just showing, like, you know, some Forex stock graph right now. Yeah, so if I invest 10,000 into the Fortune 500 companies, I'll be off the streets within 36 hours, which will be a record for a homeless person. As if, you know, like a homeless person has access to a laptop to be able to do this. Or even, like, the capital to even start something like this. Surely he's got a better idea in mind.
If I can get myself off the streets, then that's proof to other homeless people they can do it as well.
I get that he's trying maybe to, you know, show people that they can actually, you know, make a better life for themselves. Hopefully that is his intent with this. But again, like, you've worked in a profession, I imagine, for years to become successful. Like, you've gained a lot of knowledge. Like, that is in the bank for you in your mind. Like, you know how to make money now. Whereas people on the street, like, that's what they don't know how to do. They don't know how to make money because they can't get a job and they don't know how to do it without, like, being employed. So it's unfair to say if you can do it straight away, then other people can, because it's just not the same. Like I mentioned in the intro of this video, Kieran will be going homeless in London, which is arguably one of the unsafest places to be homeless. Like, I've never been homeless before, but London has a huge crime rate, biggest in the UK. It has 3,000 plus crimes a year just on homeless people in the city, which is absolutely mental. We then get a few interviews with people who are homeless in the area that Kieran will be staying in.
This is the most dangerous homeless hotspot in central London.
Do you want to come and see what real life is like on these streets?
I've been working these streets for 5 years.
Yeah, you know, his veneers are not going to survive a single second on these streets, I'm afraid. To be fair, though, he could, like, just sell his teeth. Like, you know, if it really, really gets bad and he's really in the trenches, he can just, like, you know, kind of auction them off. Surely there'll be a couple of people in the market for that. Just go outside of a dentist and kind of lowball people on the way in. The show gives us some stats on just how bad these people have it around here. It's reported that 50% of homeless people will die with unaliving themselves or from alcohol or substance abuse, which just is really sad, and the other 17% which are alive end up being victims of violent crime. So obviously it goes without saying that these people are really, really struggling. After this, the show then cuts back to Kieran, who's speaking to his girlfriend about, like, how it's going to go down, and his girlfriend is just not confident that he's going to be able to cope and also get off the streets within 72 hours.
How do you think I'm going to cope?
I could have betted, like, you know, all of the money in my account that this bloke would have some sort of crushed velvet sofa. He just fits the bill. Not that that's a bad thing. He just gives us the vibe. Just crushed velvet, ITV2, like, drives an Audi, goes to Beefer every single year. Fucking Beefer. Calls Wayne Lineker, just W. Something like that. He just gives us them vibes.
Everything else you do is based on a computer. You don't know how cold it is.
I know how cold it is. Like, my car tells me every time I turn it on in the morning.
Yeah, it's not the same thing though, is it, fella? I mean, we can all read a temperature scale, but it's actually being in it that's 10 times worse, because you can just stick the heating on in your car. You can't do that outside. You can't be like, God, is these streets got no central heating? Like, what's everyone doing? Is everyone just forgot to put it on? You not paid the leggy bill, like? That was so Geordie. Sorry, if that was what I was basically saying there is, has nobody paid the electric bill? It's when I wear this shirt, it's almost like I just, like, speak more Geordie. It's like, you know, when Batman puts on the suit a little bit, just a lot more underwhelming. Kind of like that.
If it was that easy, no one would be on the streets. He just doesn't know what he's getting himself into.
That's so true. Like, the vibes that Kieran is giving off is he thinks that people are, like, on the streets by choice. It's just, like, something they just fancy doing. I guarantee if every single homeless person was given the choice to be homeless, they would say no.
People have told me when they're begging, they make £50 to £100 a day.
No one person has told you that.
Like, you've never been homeless before. How do you know this for sure? Also, who are you been speaking to? Like, what homeless person have you been speaking to in reality? You've probably just heard that on a podcast or something, or like a headline from The Sun.
You're gonna miss us.
Not your doubting attitude, though.
Not your doubting attitude. God, you're such a hater, girlfriend. You know what? I'm going to make my haters my biggest fans after this. Also, I just want to mention, like, the whole concept of this show is entertaining as it seems, and I'm sure it's going to bring some wild moments later on. It is a little bit of a weird concept, like just making, like, somebody that is rich cosplay as homeless for, like, a few days. Especially when the goal of this show isn't to offer a new perspective to these people. It's for these people's, like, egos to be fed that they believe that they can be off the streets within 3 days. Like, the entire show is kind of set up just to prove homeless people are dumb. It's a little bit odd. The episode then shows Kieran, like, revoking all of his luxuries, like his phone, his watch, his ID, all of the above, and swapping them all for a few warm clothes within a bin bag and also a sleeping bag. And after Kieran has done this and he's ready to go, he reveals his master plan that is going to work to get him off the streets.
Master plan is beg, make a bit of money. It's raining, supply and demand. I'm going to buy some umbrellas and try to get myself into a hotel.
Sorry, what? Wait, your business plan is hoping that it rains and you're going to sell people umbrellas? Like, what? That's such a niche one. Umbrellas? Has he just worked out a deal with, like, Mother Nature that she's going to rain on these days? Like, I mean, he is pretty powerful. He is pretty influential. So I imagine them two are kind of, you know, they do some backstreet dealings from time to time, him and Mother Nature. I imagine she, like, lets him handle our investments and stuff. So they're kind of, you know, they're kind of tight, them two. I just think umbrellas is a pretty rogue one because even if it's raining, like, I wouldn't buy an umbrella. I'd rather just give the homeless person the money than, like, you know, buy an umbrella off them. It's just such a specific thing. Brother's gonna be the Mary Poppins of the London streets.
I want to prove a point that it can be done.
How are you feeling?
Feeling confident.
Imagine, like, having the ego of someone that the only reason you're taking part in this experiment is to prove that you don't need to be homeless. Like, you're taking time out of your working days to do this just for the love of the game. You've got to be built different.
Imagine if I do it for the 3 days and I go stay in the shard.
Oh, what? That would be sick. No, that would be mint, that. What? Like the actual, the shard in the sky. Oh, what? This is sick. Homeless to shard in 3 days. Oh, God. Please go on a podcast and talk about that. I'll watch that so many times. What?
When no one's giving me money because they might look at me like I'm looking dodgy. Now I look intelligent. You want to give me everything in your pocket.
Sorry, that's the ace card up your sleeve. You're bringing a pair of glasses. Really? What, are you saying that because you're wearing some glasses, someone is going to be more inclined to give you money because you look more intelligent? Like, what is this perspective? You know, glasses are a lot of money. People are going to be like, fucking hell, he's got better glasses than me. Or maybe he's like saying if someone walks past him when he's not wearing the glasses, he'll put the glasses on. They'll think he's a different person, so then he's got double the chance of getting some money off them. It's a little bit like when Clark Kent puts the glasses on and people don't realise that he's Superman. Kieran then leaves his family and he won't be having any contact with them for the entire time. And when he's walking out of his apartment's lobby, he just like says bye to the receptionists as if he's just going like on holiday or something.
See you later.
Oh, are you off, Kieran? Anywhere nice? Somewhere sunny? Nah, just fancied like cosplaying as homeless for a few days. Just think it'll be a pretty laugh. I've got nothing in my calendar, you see. Now, like we previously mentioned, Kieran has less than 72 hours to prove his point that homeless people are actually just lazy. Put an early prediction in the comments if you think that he's actually going to be successful in proving this. But before we see him embark on this journey, you're probably wondering like how I managed to react to all of these TV shows, especially this TV show which isn't currently available to stream in the UK. Well, I do this by using Surfshark. Do you want to unlock content from over 100 different countries? Done. Do you want military grade encryption that hides you away from trackers, hackers, and even keeps your own internet provider out of your business? Done again. Surfshark has you covered in all of these areas. Honestly, I don't use the internet without using Surfshark. For people that don't know what Surfshark is, it's a VPN that keeps all of your data online private. It allows you to virtually travel the world and browse privately without other people who you don't even know trying to get your information, which is what happens when you don't actually use a VPN. Surfshark also blocks unwanted ads and also malware from infecting your system. For me, using Surfshark is like wearing underwear, okay? For the stuff that you want to keep private, that's why you have it, because it keeps it all private so nobody else can take a look and be like, actually, I want some of that. It's basically basically underwear for surfing the web. I don't think anyone's ever described a VPN like that before. It's just nicely stored, so only you have access to it. And the best part about Surfshark as well is that it doesn't break the bank because you only need to set up one paying account and you can use it on unlimited devices, so your entire household can use it with just your account. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee to give you peace of mind. And to persuade you to use Surfshark even more, I've got a deal for you. Of course, I've got a deal for the donuts. If you click the first link in my description, surfshark.com/Kirkham, or just use Kirkham at checkout whilst on the Surfshark website, you will get 4 extra months of Surfshark completely free. Never say to me again that I've never bought you underwear for the web. That's a weird sentence. Protect you and your entire household now by going to Surfshark and using my code or clicking the first link in the description. And again, donuts, it just helps say to Surfshark to possibly work with us again and just helps the channel, so I would appreciate if you do try it out. Now, Kieran is almost at the drop-off location and he just seems too overconfident.
Quite like sleeping in the cold. I like the breeze. You know, when I'm sleeping, I see my bedroom window open, so I might actually enjoy my sleep.
Oh yeah, to be fair, mate, it's exactly the same thing. So what do you like sleep with one leg out the covers as well? Oh, you'll be fine, homeless. Oh yeah, this will be a breeze for you. Yeah. What? It's a little bit different sleeping with the window open and actually sleeping on the pavement. At this point, I'm wondering if this guy is just coming on here to kind of take the piss out of homeless people and just try and get like a social media following, because some of the things he's coming out with is just outrageous, or this guy might just have a really weird perspective and just be a bit of a bad bloke. One thing that is important to note is that if Kieran does get into any issues with people being violent towards him, then the crew will step in for his safety, or if he has any health issues, like, I don't know, like he starts to starve or something, which doesn't really give him a full perspective of being homeless, because then, you know, like, homeless people don't have, like, you know, a crew that are there to support them the entire time. And also the fact he knows he isn't going to be homeless after 72 hours, like, he knows there's an end to this, but with, like, homeless people, they don't know if there's going to be an end to this and if they ever will not be homeless. So the actual mindset of this experiment doesn't actually, you know, truly represent being homeless, in my opinion. However, I do believe he's going to severely struggle here. Like, already he's run into his first problem once he arrives.
I don't even have like a pot to hold to like, where are they going to give me money?
What do you think, like, you know, when you register as homeless, they just give you a pot? They're like, oh, there's your homeless pot, mate. Bring it back when you find a house. Don't be using that for guests. And his master plan to get loads of money begging to afford a hotel has already had a spanner in the works straight away.
You right, mate? Do you know where's the best place to beg?
Nowhere around here, mate. You can't beg. There's no such thing as begging.
Right. Right, no problem.
I mean, that's not really gonna, you know, help your case of getting off the streets, fella. That was your only plan. That was your capital. Begging. Now you can't do that. What you gonna do? He's like, oh, really? You're not allowed? That's illegal, is it? Oh, right, all right. Cheers, fella. No worries. Kieran then just ignores what the last person told him. He finds a Tesco Express, sits down outside of it and just starts begging.
Spare change, please. Any spare change, please, mate? Spare change, please.
I mean, everyone's ignoring you, and it might have something to do with, like, the guy holding a camera right into your face with a studio light. I feel like that might just kind of intimidate people a little bit and kind of give people second thoughts of what's going on here. I also need to note, like, a lot of people will just ignore him anyway. However, it is probably a good place to pick to sit outside of if he does want to, you know, get some food in him if he is hungry, if people can go in the shop and buy him something. However, you do see the cameraman kind of go further away from him at certain points, and this means that more people come up to him and give him money.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I need a break. Bum's hurting.
But it's not the payday Kieran's used to.
I just hustled an hour for a £5.
I mean, yeah. What were you expecting? Like 10 grand? To be fair, this guy says that he can make 10 grand in a day doing anything. I don't think that he's going to be able to afford a hotel with just a £5. And this surprises him because he thought that he wasn't going to spend any single night of this on the streets. However, now he actually has to find a place to sleep. Now, within the homeless community, a lot of the time, people kind of like sleep together, like safety in numbers kind of thing, so that, you know, you can check on each other and, like, you know, you can't be kind of outnumbered by a group of people if you're by yourself. But obviously Kieran just won't know this because, you know, he's never been homeless before, so he's looking for somewhere that nobody else is about, where he can just kind of be by himself. And I do understand why he's doing this, because I feel like a lot of people within the homeless community aren't happy that a cameraman is following him around.
Right. We don't deal with idiots like that.
I'm a bit like wary.
Like, I do kind of get it. You know, if you were homeless, you wouldn't want, like, a cameraman just be, like doing this on you. Like, you would just feel a little bit uncomfortable. At this point, they don't know that Kieran is part of a social experiment. They just think that he's homeless and possibly there's, like, a documentary made on him or something. But some people could also think he's, like, an undercover cop. Like, they're just going to be suspicious of someone with a cameraman. He then eventually finds a place where it's basically, like, a sheltered shopping centre, so he can sleep outside one of the shops.
I think it's going to be hard for 4 days-ish, though.
Yeah, I would imagine, mate. Like, I don't imagine it's going to be a breeze. Everybody would struggle in this situation. Like, even if you are, like, a millionaire entrepreneur, like, it doesn't make it any easier for you. I also like the fact that they've took away his phone. They've took away everything to kind of, you know, give him, you know, it sounds terrible, but give him, like, the most realistic experience of being homeless that they can. It sounds so dystopian just explaining this show. Kieran then gets waken up at 6 a.m. by the security team there, who basically tell him to piss off because he's not allowed to sleep here. And Kieran says that this was the worst night of his life and there's zero chance that tonight he's going to be sleeping on the streets again. However, he only made £5 last night, which is nowhere near enough to rent out a hotel room. So he's going to have to make a lot of money today to afford one. Also, he has to pay for food and like other expenses, I imagine. So unless this umbrella business takes off, he's going to be struggling. And I don't see any chance of rain anytime soon. It's not looking good, bruv. Well, that's not part of my vocabulary. You know what? I thought about saying that and I was like, yeah, that'll be a good thing to say in a video. I said it and then instantly regretted it. I was like, nah, that just doesn't fit me. Don't know why I'm trying to be something I'm not. Now, already his first morning of being homeless has started horrifically.
Spare change, please. No worries, thank you.
What do you mean change and fuck off, you said?
Did I say fuck off, though?
It's a morning time, bro.
No, I didn't. Stop lying.
I mean, he did say thank you. I've got to give him that. He didn't say fuck off. No worries, mate. Fuck off. Like, this guy is going, why are you being rude for it to the morning? I feel like you're the one being rude here. That would be a wild way to start the day off. Just your first words to someone is just, yeah, mate, just fuck off.
So the thought I said fuck you to him, I said thank you.
I don't know if this guy actually thought that he said that to him or if he just wanted to pick a fight and he chose a homeless person. Surely, like, a homeless person has got enough on their plate, mate. Like, they don't need you shouting at them.
You might get a bit wet there, buddy.
Yeah, I'll move out the way for you.
Hopefully this actually does make Kieran, like, have a better, broader perspective on, like, what people have to go through who are struggling in life. Surely this process has to change you as a person. Like I said, at the end of this video, we are going to do an update on Kieran to see where he is today and how he's doing. But I can't imagine you, like, going through this and then remaining the same person. I can't fathom that. After this, Kieran decides to embark on creating his umbrella business. However, the man that he recently had that altercation with comes back and apologises to him and actually gives him £2. He does look to the camera, so I don't know if he's only done this because he knew he was captured on video being a bit of an arse. But nevertheless, he's give Kieran £2, so there's £7 in his pocket. Kieran then decides to use this £7 to start his umbrella business he's been talking about. He goes round, like, the various shopping carts in London trying to find who is selling their umbrellas for the cheapest to see if he can kind of buy one to sell it. However, they're all out of his price range, so he ends up just abandoning this idea completely and just decides to go back begging instead.
Plans fail, that's part of being an entrepreneur. Well, then you got to find something else, you got to find a plan B.
Plans fail, that's just part of being the first homeless entrepreneur. The fact he actually thought this umbrella thing would work. Like, why wouldn't any homeless person have, like, made this before? Like, out of all the people that have been homeless, surely if, like, the secret to not being homeless was selling umbrellas, somebody would have discovered that. It's just such a weird product to pick. To be fair though, it is raining, so I guess, like, maybe he did check the weather forecast before and then he just thought that this would be an idea that would work. One thing I will say though is every single plan that he's had lined up has actually failed at this point, and it's obviously just because he thought it would be too easy and he didn't have the perspective of how hard this actually is. However, he does have the ace up his sleeve with wearing the glasses. Obviously, wearing the glasses, he's going to look more sophisticated, which is going to mean the money's going to roll in.
Any spare change, please? Any spare change, please? Feel low. Say when you're begging, you feel low.
Well, that was fucking dreadful. Glad you brought the glasses right there. The secret trick is really working here. I'm trying not to be too harsh on this guy, okay? Because, like, I understand from this guy's perspective, in business, he probably has tried a lot of things and they might have worked first time for him, so he might have this false sense that all of his ideas are great ideas. But I just feel like the umbrella and now wearing the glasses are just such strange ideas to become, like, not homeless anymore. Again, surely with all the people that have been homeless, if the secret trick was just to wear glasses, like, surely every single homeless person would be wearing glasses to get off the streets. Because of his failed attempts to beg, he then decides to switch locations to Piccadilly Circus, and on the way there he manages to grab himself a box because he has an outside of the box idea to get people to speak to him.
Let's put, if you have no spare change, I appreciate a conversation. People get to know me a bit. They might want to give me some change.
I love that his goal has gone from staying in a posh hotel every night to just getting someone to have a conversation with him. Like, he soon realised how hard this is actually going to be. However, this tactic is his most successful one yet, as a lot of people actually come and speak to him.
I think your teeth are amazing.
Thank you.
Of course, the first person talks about his veneers. By the way, where did you get your teeth done? Could I have the link, please? You got a 20% discount on your bio or something?
How much did it cost?
4,000.
I'm sure it's going to work out for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye. God bless.
Like, although he got a conversation which was nice, like, people aren't going to give you money if you tell them that you paid £4,000 for just your teeth. Like, then people just aren't going to have sympathy for you, unfortunately. It's pretty sad because he may have, like, had money at one point, spent them on veneers, and is now homeless, and, like, this is his situation, and he actually is homeless. Like, these people don't know that. As weird as it sounds, I actually think him having veneers is hindering him here.
It's a hard one if you've ever got your teeth done and you do actually become homeless, because I don't think people are going to take you serious.
Well, this is what he's putting all the blame down to, his teeth. It is an interesting one, though, because obviously, like, anybody can become homeless, and if you are someone that, you know, has once had a lot of money and you decided to get your teeth done, like, you very well might find yourself in this position and might find it harder to, you know, get money off people. Even though nobody at this point is giving him money, a lot of people have, like, bought food and drinks for him, which is really nice.
Well, I just asked the shop if they got a plastic fork on the dough. Glasses that have been used, I've took the lens out. I'm going to eat my spaghetti with the glasses lens.
But what about wearing them? Now people aren't going to think you're approachable or sophisticated. You're literally losing out on money per hour eating your spaghetti hoops, Kieran. Did you not think about this? You should have done what every single homeless person does and have a spare set of glasses that you use to eat your spaghetti hoops with. What a tool. What a tool. Now at this point, Kieran has been begging for a total of 6 hours and he's managed to raise £33, which obviously, like, that is more money than yesterday when it was only £5, but it's still not enough for him to get a hotel room, so he's going to have to spend another night on the streets, which again disproves his point that he can get off the streets quickly. However, he does find out that he will have enough money to stay in a hostel for homeless people, and because he has enough money to stay in a hostel, he says that his initial plan is now working.
It's getting likely that I would have proven my point that if you really want to get off the streets, you can do.
But again, like, yes, you're staying in a hostel, so you're off the streets technically, but this isn't sustainable. This is sustainable for you because you're doing this only for like a 3-day period, but this is not a sustainable kind of method for people to actually get off the streets full time. However, a lot of these hostels are like a first come, first serve basis, so you've got to be pretty quick to, you know, get access to them before they fill up, and Kieran can't actually find the hostel because obviously he hasn't got his phone and he's not used to, like, following directions of street signs. So it takes him 2 hours to actually find this place, and by the time he gets there, it's already full and he can't stay there. And apparently they also have a rule that you can't just turn up and stay there. You have to kind of been picked up off the streets by the people who work there.
I definitely underestimated the challenge. I was hoping for an happy ending, so it was the last thing that I wanted to happen.
I do find his journey in this episode fascinating because this is a successful guy, okay? This is a guy who has made a lot of money, clearly knows how to get an income, and even he is struggling to make enough money to find somewhere to sleep. So can you imagine what it's like for people that don't have the knowledge that he has on how to make money? It's basically impossible. Just quickly, donors, if you haven't already, please do consider pressing the subscribe button. We are on a mission to get 1 million donuts on this channel, okay? And we're closing in on it. We're still quite far away, but you can help us achieve it. So press the subscribe button. You'll have plenty of videos like this to binge watch when you're bored.
Now it's raining. Things probably about to get even more worse.
Damn. If only, if only there was an umbrella company that could help us, fucking, should have started that business earlier.
No, I brought my secret weapon. That's devastating.
To be fair, if you wore glasses with only one lens, maybe people might feel more sorry for you. Then you won't look sophisticated, but I feel like people might want to speak to you a little bit more. Kieran then returns to the exact same spot that he stayed at last night because he feels a bit more comfortable sleeping there. I guess it's because he knows the surroundings a little bit more. However, when he actually arrives there, somebody has took his spot.
How long have you been homeless for?
About a year.
This is a guy named Tommy, and he became homeless after he split up with his girlfriend. He often stays in this area that Kieran has been sleeping in.
We're out here 24/7. And I mean, real shit. I've watched 4 people get stabbed in a year.
I really want Kieran to say to him, yeah, actually, mate, like, I know you're saying you've seen all these people get stabbed and all of this, and, like, you've got loads of trauma, but I actually just think the reason you're here is because you're lazy. Go on, Kieran, stand on business. Like, have you never thought about making an umbrella company? Like, ever? In your life, you've never thought about selling umbrellas? Have you ever thought about, like, wearing glasses to, like, get off the streets? Like, has that ever, entered the mainframe? Honestly, like, I'm giving you so many ideas here. Wait, I've got another one. Have you never thought about begging and just, like, with all the money you get from begging, just living in posh hotels? Like, come on, man. That's 3 ideas right now. Tommy talks about how since he's been homeless, he's addicted to having spice, which is a substance that a lot of homeless people have. I think it's got the nickname like the zombie drug because when people take it, they often like, are kind of out of it and walk like a zombie.
Oh, I didn't know I was member.
Mate, I didn't touch this shit till I came out here.
And I actually probably believe him with that. Like, can you imagine you're homeless, okay, and you're very stressed, you're constantly on edge looking over your shoulder. You're going to want something that is just going to take your mind off things and, de-stress you. And I'm not advocating for using this at all. I'm just trying to offer why these people actually take these things. Because a lot of people look at homeless people who, might look high on something and just call them idiots or whatever. But there's a reason that they're taking that, whether it's because they're addicted or whether it's because that's the only thing that lessens the pain for a short period of time. And I'm not saying that you should do this, but I'm just trying to offer the perspective of why these people do this, okay? I need to make that clear.
The illegal synthetic drug spice has become an epidemic amongst the homeless.
It's also very cheap to get compared to like other substances or even alcohol, especially like if you drink a lot of alcohol, your kind of tolerance to alcohol gets higher, which means you've got to drink more to actually get drunk, which obviously means more money. Whereas if you can take something that's really cheap, obviously it's going to have such detrimental impact on your health. But I imagine when you're homeless, you're not even thinking about your health just because of how much pain you're going through.
Survival of fucking fittest, bro. Deal with it.
He's got it tattooed on him. I kind of rate that. Just any little kind of mental thing to keep you going. Just, I don't know, you're having a bad day and you just see it, you're like, oh, right. It's right here. Got to keep going. I kind of like that.
How much do you make a day?
I was as wet as a rat outside that co-op yesterday. Wet as a rat. And I didn't even get up. Nobody even give me anything.
Sorry, Tommy, you were wet? Well, I've got a proposition for you. Imagine not being wet, right? For £7. There you go, fella. It's yours. Thank you very much. There we go. First sale in the bag. Hotel tonight. Kieran then makes a pact with Tommy and says that if they both go begging together, they can split the money of a hotel room that can go halves on it and stay there for the night. Now, that is a good idea. Obviously, like, it's, they're just like lessening the workload for each other. But the only reason Kieran is doing this is not to help Tommy. It's so that he can prove that he can get off the streets within 72 hours. Like, after that, he goes back home to his mansion, like, and gets to enjoy life. Tommy is still on the streets, so he's just kind of blew that money away when he could have used it for food or whatever. You're going to see very shortly as well how this pack kind of turns really sour later on. Kieran then meets Dan and Hayden, who are two of like the leading pillars in the homeless community around this area, and they actually have a really insightful conversation about what it's like to be homeless.
I used to look at homeless people. I would not give them the time of day. But since I've been homeless myself, I have met the most genuine people.
To be fair, that is true. Like, if you meet people just that aren't homeless and, they're trying to like act like they've got more money than they have or whatever, like, I guess within the homeless community, like, I wouldn't know. But people aren't faking shit, right? Like, people are really, really struggling and they're just being who they are. There's no need to fake anything. Like, what is there to prove, really?
I struggle to make friends, really.
Well, blame me both, mate.
I'm not, it's my leg.
This is why you're struggling to make friends.
That's actually great. Stop playing with your balls when you're speaking to us, man. I really want to know, like, if they're wary about the camera though. Like this, it's never explained like what the cameraman is like here doing. We're just assured that Kieran is like undercover here. Like they're not kind of, you know, revealing that he's part of a TV show. So all of these homeless people do in fact believe that he is homeless. Now at this point, Kieran says that his perspective on all homeless people was totally wrong and they're actually some of the nicest people that he's ever met. Later in this episode, you're going to see how he changes this perspective, and possibly rightly so on a couple of people he meets. Now, although Kieran has had possibly the best night out of the two so far, after this, his experience on the street goes severely downhill. It's now 6 AM and Kieran and Tommy again are getting kicked out of here by the security. And this is Kieran's last day to prove that he can get off the streets within 3 days like he said he can before taking part in this. So he's going to be going all out today. Now, although he made a pact with Tommy that they're going to split the price of a hotel room for tonight, Tommy has something else on his mind when he wakes up, and that is finding some spice.
More addictive than heroin, Spice's nickname is the zombie drug.
Annoying me a bit. Being lazy today. I'm not waiting about for him.
He's only seeing this from his perspective here. Like, he's not taking any... He's got no empathy for Tommy whatsoever. If Tommy isn't of use to him, then he's just going to ditch him, which I guess he doesn't know him. He has to kind of look out for himself. But there's just zero empathy here. Like, the reason why Tommy, the first thing that he needs to do when he wakes up is get this, because he's addicted. And if he doesn't have it, he's going to be, like, he's going to be really, really bad. Because once you're hooked on this stuff, it's just so incredibly hard to get off it, especially when you're homeless and, you know, you've got all the issues that you're currently dealing with. And we don't know how long this guy has also been homeless for. It could be years, so he's just completely void of any motivation to change his situation. Whereas with Kieran, he's only been homeless for like, what, 48 hours, so he's very much got like a healthy mindset about all of this.
I said a lot of the homeless I think are lazy, and that's kind of like proved my point. Try get someone to get into the hotel because I'm not doing another night on the streets.
I don't think that makes them lazy though. Like, that's got nothing to do with being lazy. Because they're addicted to a substance makes them lazy. They're ill. Like, it's an illness what they're going through. Kieran then finds a hotel that it could be likely he could stay at tonight, and he just asks how much the rooms are here just to get a gauge on how much he has to make today.
There's one which is £60. I've guaranteed got enough money for one that's shared, which is £25.
Is this bad that I kind of don't want him to be able to sleep in a hotel room tonight? Like, I do so he's safe. Like, I don't want him to get hurt or anything, but I don't want him to get validation for his initial perspective on homeless people being lazy.
Tom has pissed me off this morning. Sit down with me, waste hours of my time, and then you wake up in the morning, smoke spice, and you want to be lazy.
I know it's his choice to do this, but do you think he's doing this because, like, oh, he just kind of fancies doing this? He has to do it to function. Not once has Kieran ever went, oh yeah, like, I think he's actually addicted to this, and like, it's going to be really hard to kind of work around this for both to get a hotel room tonight. Kieran literally just thinks Tommy's wasted his time on purpose. Now again, I know it is the choice of this person to do this substance, but it's just so much harder than Kieran is making out. Anyone who's watching this video who has dealt with some, like a family member, a friend, anyone who has suffered with addiction, you will know exactly what I mean. It takes over people's lives and their entire like logic and their life decisions. Kieran then does in fact confront Tommy about going rogue on him.
I don't know, I felt like if you have it in the morning, you put it down on your day. Probably going to stop approaching the homeless now.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna like stop trying to help like actual homeless people. Like, they're getting in the way of my goals. And me as a Sigma male, I kind of walk the path that has been unwalked. I don't go down the same path as everyone else. They're kind of just messing up my goals here, and honestly, I'm getting quite sick of them. At this point, I feel like Kieran again is getting a little bit overconfident. Like, he says that he's not happy with having the shared accommodation at this hotel room. He wants his own room, which is like 60 plus quid. This is double what he currently has in his pocket right now, so I believe he has to earn around 30 quid in 6 hours to achieve this.
I always say when I do something, I always overachieve, so I need to raise £27, and I've got a private room for a night.
Honestly, like, people always say that I'm just the biggest overachiever ever. Like, if I have a goal, often I just go past it. Sometimes I aim for the moon, and honestly, I just reach Jupiter, and it's just a talent of mine. However, his plan of making up this amount is shot in the foot when another homeless person confronts him for taking his spot.
Sat here?
I'm sat there.
You can both sit here if you want.
Nah, don't make no.
This is a tough one, because obviously I just don't understand, like, you know, the social dynamic of being homeless, and if people do reserve spots like this, just, you know, kind of, and everyone knows it in the area. But if someone says, like, I sit here for years and this is my spot, I think I would just move, especially if I wasn't homeless and I was part of the social experiment. Because you can't have two people right next to each other. Like, even I know that, because people are just going to give money to the first person. They're going to like pick and choose, aren't they? Chances are the second person isn't going to make as much as the first person.
Hey, I'm not doing anything wrong here.
Bloody hell. I mean, yeah, just move, mate. Like, you're literally here for another, like, 15 hours or so. Just move. It's not worth possibly, you know, getting in a violent exchange with this guy. If this guy says this is normally where he stays, I would just move. Like, you don't understand the dynamic of this. It's not worth putting your entire health at risk and possibly, you know, getting injured here. This is really hard because I don't have the perspective of being homeless to know, like, if this is a normal thing within the community. If anyone has been homeless, it would be good for you to give us the perspective in the comments. Because obviously, like, just looking at this face value, this guy just looks like a little bit of a bully. But I don't want to actually label him as, like, a nasty person if this is just a normal thing that goes on within the community. One thing that is a little bit funny is after Kieran gets the shite frightened out of him from this bloke, he says that a shared accommodation in this hotel room isn't actually a bad thing after all.
I'm starting to think, you know, the shared room won't be that bad. It's not normally...
Yeah, actually, the shared room, actually, that I could take that right now if it was offered to us, you know. Not gonna have anyone screaming at us, for one. What happens if that bloke is the other person, though? Like, he gets somebody off this street, and then he books the bed next to you? That's gonna cause a little bit of friction. I need assurances that bed is not gonna be taken by him if I'm gonna have it.
I mean, at the start, I had to ditch him because he was draining me energy. An old man's tried bullying me off my spot, so it's been an hard day, really.
If only he had an umbrella business that could take him off the streets. If only Mother Nature pulled through with the rain every day. He then makes his way to the hotel room for check-in time because he just wants to get off the streets as soon as possible. However, there's one big issue.
I'll just need your ID first.
ID?
That's the problem because we need to put the ID basically in the system.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't have ID. Like, they obviously took his own ID off him, but homeless people don't have IDs because they don't have a registered address for the ID to, like, be, you know, located to or even delivered to. So obviously they just don't have ID, and there's no way for them to get ID unless they have a permanent residence. So obviously Kieran can't book this hotel room despite having the money to get the shared room, and the look on his face, like, he looks so demotivated at this point.
Got money, I might just buy a fucking pack of cans and some food just to keep going for the night.
And that's so interesting that he says this while he's feeling like this, because this guy has only been homeless for between 48 to 72 hours, and already he's thinking about spending his money on drink. So when you see people like Tommy who've possibly been homeless for years, this is how they progress onto the stuff that they're currently taking. Like, this guy is feeling like this after 48 hours, and he knows that he's not going to be homeless. These other people don't. Now, because Kieran isn't going to be in a hotel tonight, obviously his plan of being off the streets within 72 hours has failed. Like, he's going to spend another night on the streets. As sad as it is that he's going to be on the streets, and later you're going to see why tonight is the worst night of all of them, I am sad for him. However, I am happy that he hasn't found a hotel room, because it doesn't give him the kind of one-up that homeless people are lazy. Now, to kick Kieran when he's down, things only get worse from this point, because some of the people in the local area who are homeless are becoming, like, suspicious of Kieran because of the cameraman, and they confront him about it.
How long have you been homeless?
Like 4 days.
4 days? That's just like a little camping time now.
Alright. It's not a competition though, is it, mate? I'm just letting you know right now, if my mum had took me on holiday and this was the holiday, camping in the streets of London, I don't really think you can call that a holiday, if I'm being honest.
Like,
homeless seat then, mate.
Well then, what are you then? Like, if you're homeless for 4 days, are you just without a home? Like, I know he's not actually homeless, so, like, this doesn't work. But if you actually have just been homeless for 4 days, are you not homeless? Like, I don't understand the logic here.
You haven't got very nice teeth. You're a cop. And I fucking run things around you.
Sorry. Like, is this the homeless Tommy Shelby? Like, he sounds like a Peaky Blinder, this bloke. Who the f*** is you? By order of the Peaky Blinders, off. Have you seen the subtitles here, by the way? I'm gonna f***ing murder you. Can you imagine how scared you would be right now? Never mind if you're homeless or not. This is scary for anyone to say to you. Wait, why? Because he's got nice teeth. That was the main reason, right? Because he's never seen him before and he's got veneers. He's going to murder him. These veneers are just seeming like the worst idea that Kieran has ever made in his life at this point. They've let him down on multiple occasions. The veneers are not his friend in this experiment.
Let's keep walking, guys.
See, that's just a knobhead. Whoever that was, just an absolute knobhead trying to intimidate him. I kind of like it how he just stood his ground there and just, like, didn't feel intimidated by him. Like, he's got big balls, to be fair to Kieran. Like, the fact he just did not move. Because clearly they don't think he's an undercover cop, because if he was an undercover cop, I just don't imagine they would say that to him. They're just trying to intimidate him because he's not really from here. But this is London, and that guy didn't sound like he was from London either. Like, he sounded like he had, like, a Brummie accent. Now, at this point, this guy actually pulls a knife out on Kieran, so the crew have to get Kieran away from this because obviously, like, his life is in danger here. Like, this is really, really bad.
When he pulled his knife out, he was going, I'm going to murder you and all that, being dead weird.
Like, I know we've had a laugh at Kieran in this video, but genuinely, I wouldn't want anyone to go through this experience. Like, this would actually be a life-altering experience right now. Like, that is one of the scariest things ever, especially in London. Like, there's a recent story where someone got stabbed just because of the watch that they were wearing. Like, stuff like this does happen in London, and it can be fatal. It happens all up and down the country, but in London, it's, like, you know, famed for it. And I know, like, the crew stepping in isn't really, you know, giving him the full experience of being homeless, but at the end of the day, this guy has a daughter and, you know, a girlfriend, and, you know, I'm afraid that's more important than just taking part in the TV show. So I'm glad they did step in, because it's not fair on his family if this guy gets hurt, especially when he didn't actually do anything either.
I prefer to be in jail than homeless. You've got guards in jails. You have guards on the streets.
Okay, that's the next episode. Kieran tries to start an umbrella business to get out of jail within 72 hours. Let's see how this goes down. To be fair, like, I don't really, like, why didn't you just say I'd prefer to be home? Given the choice, I wouldn't want to be in either, because, yeah, like, prison does have guards, but we all know stuff happens in prison, and also you're locked in with loads of bad people. At least on the streets, not everyone's a bad person. The narrator then tells us that 3,000 plus crimes happen on homeless people per year just in London. Like, it's just not a safe place for these people to be.
I saw the knife, I saw the weapon. If that would have happened, you know, my little girl could have ended up without a dad.
One thing I do know is this guy is going to bring this story up for the rest of his life. Like, he's going to be like, yeah, from, like, literally, I was nearly robbed at knife point and I've become a millionaire off it. That's my journey. I know he's going to use this to his advantage. He just gives us that kind of vibe. Kieran then decides to ring his girlfriend and his daughter for the first time since taking part in this experiment, and I definitely think it's because it's kind of really probably give him a fresh perspective of, like, how lucky he is to live the life that he does and have the family he does and have people that love him and not be alone and not be, you know, just on the streets doing what these people are doing. That is one thing I really hope for him, that it gives him just a better perspective and makes him just overall just a more understanding and better person, even though someone has pulled a knife out on him, which is probably gonna, you know, leave obviously a sour taste in his mouth. Now, obviously, Kieran isn't staying in a hotel tonight and he still needs somewhere to sleep. Now, the place he has been sleeping the 2 previous nights is where all of these people who've just threatened him sleep, or at least in the surrounding area, so he can't go back there. And obviously, like, Tommy sleeps there as well. He's fell out with him, so he decides to go to a new area to sleep, and he actually finds, like, a church, and outside this church there's a lot of people who've, like, put their tents up, and it's like we said at the start of this episode, those people do that because it's, like, safety in numbers, and the people seem really nice here. Like, they even give him free food.
This place here, I think, is the safest place I have seen. The people around here look out for one another.
Yeah.
And I really like that they've showed this, because if they ended the, you know, the interaction with the homeless people with that guy, you know, pulling the knife out, it would have just give a bad impression of homeless people. So I like that they've ended it with kind of showing that actually the you know, in the main, homeless people are actually nice people and they're just people. They're not all just absolute maniacs. Kieran then goes to sleep with all of these people, and it's nice because he didn't want to do this at the start, and he's ended the episode kind of, you know, with the safety and numbers thing, which is just, it's just a nice round off to it. Kieran then wakes up, and obviously this is the day that he's going to return home.
About £10 or something there.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too.
God bless you.
You too. I hope everything works out for you as well.
I am.
This makes me sad. Like, that guy was really nice to him and just probably made him feel a little bit more safe on his last night when he didn't need to. Like, that guy didn't gain anything from helping Kieran, and the fact that Kieran gave him the £10, I actually really like that. I know he's a millionaire and he could have given him a lot more money, but, you know, it still is a nice thing that he didn't forget to do that. Now, I've said multiple times, I really hope that this experience makes Kieran a better person. We are going to get into the update very shortly.
Understand why they quit, because for a person like me that doesn't quit, I've had still a very, very hard time. It's probably changed me as a person, to be fair.
I definitely think if this guy was actually homeless and spent more than 72 hours on the streets, it would definitely, you know, break his spirits a lot more. Like, he says he's someone that doesn't quit, and like, I believe that probably is right within his life. Like, obviously to get to the point he's got to, being self-made, surely you have to have like a strong mentality, but being on the streets would break pretty much everyone, especially if you're on the streets for a prolonged period of time. The show then ends with like a short-term update on how Kieran's getting on. Kieran plans to regularly donate clothes, food and his time to the homeless. Obviously we don't have proof if he did this, but it would be nice if he did. And is teaching his daughter to one day do the same. Like, again, like, if you can pass this knowledge that you've, you know, experienced here to your daughter, this just kind of makes more people aware that obviously homeless people are just people. And I know that seems like a stupid statement to say, but a lot of people don't treat them like they're people. Now, you might be wondering what Kieran did after appearing on the show. Well, a lot. This guy went on multiple podcasts, very much like business podcasts, like the title of this one. From council flat to 460k months, Kieran Hamilton's millionaire journey. And it seems like a lot of his brand is very much centered still around how much money he makes and flexing how much money he makes. So clearly this experience hasn't like taken away that flexing nature that he has and hasn't changed that aspect of his personality. In his Instagram bio, he does have like Rich Kids Go Homeless Channel 5, like that's in his bio. Like, it's almost like he wants people to know that he was on a TV show, I guess. He also sells his own course on how to make 10k a month. Like, he's one of them that like promises to kind of change people's lives for the better by, you know, if you buy their course, then, you know, they'll give you all the information how to be like them. We all know that that is like a growing trend within social media. Voice break. I think that might be the first one of this video. Didn't make it through, almost. He uploads a lot of reels as well, and like, I watched a few of them just to kind of get a gauge on what type of person this guy is now. And it seems like this experience hasn't kind of made his perspective that great in helping people. Like, there was one video he made about how he's sick of his friends asking him for help.
The worst thing about doing all right for yourself, your business has just succeeded, you've started making a bit of change, is tax. And I'm not talking about HMRC up your ass, I'm talking about a thing called friend tax. And I want to help all of my friends. I love my friends, I love my family. However, right, there's only so much you can help people. Like, everywhere, it's always like friend taxes. Oh, mate, can you borrow us 500 quid? Can you borrow us £1,000? And they know you've got it, so you...
This is just a weird reel to post, in my opinion. Like, imagine you're one of his mates, one of his close mates, and you've just, like, said, oh, mate, like, can I lend some money? And then he makes a reel about it. Like, it's just going to leave a sour taste in your mouth if you're like really struggling, you know he's good for it. I know it's like, obviously people have different opinions on this, and like, if people are rich, like, you shouldn't just use it even though they're your friend, and that's fine. I totally understand that. It's just the fact of like kind of embarrassing them by making a public reel is just a bit odd. He also often promotes his get rich quick money schemes on his Instagram.
I'm on holiday right now and I am making £4 every 30 seconds. This is no bullshit, guys. This is my stream here. I'm on holiday. I'm making £4 every 30 seconds. I literally teach you how to do this.
I'm a little bit disappointed. Obviously, the guy's got to make his money. The guy just seems like even more materialistic than when he was on the show. One thing that is always important to note with these people that promise you to make you thousands of money for free is they get something out of it. They're not doing this for the kindness of their heart. Like, they're winning somehow. If the product is free, then you are the product somehow. They'll be making money on commission or whatever it is. Now, when I did a little bit more research into him, and again, everything I'm about to say is alleged. Like, I don't want to, you know, get in any issues here, so I'm prefacing this by saying allegedly. He originally went by the Instagram name Kez the Guru, which is how he apparently made his millions, and apparently he made his money by allegedly scamming people. These are the accusations that have been labelled against him. This is an article posted by Vice, who obviously are a huge corporation. This year, a number of influencers, including Kieran Kieran Hamilton, who goes by the name Kez the Guru, has been called out by the UK's financial watchdog, the Financial Conduct Authority, for offering unauthorised financial products or services. They sell Forex as something that has propelled them from humble backgrounds to leading opulent lives. And basically, he would use like huge influencers, like there's reality TV stars such as off Geordie Shore and all of there, where they basically promote somebody like this guy and they get a commission for how many people sign up to this guy's program. Really, really dodgy stuff, if this is all true. Again, I want to say alleged. Now, when I read that he'd been actually called out by the Financial Conduct Authority, I thought, surely that can't be true, because that is like really, really serious. But I actually found the article here, and he is actually named as well. Like, this is really, really mental. Somebody actually told their story to a newspaper about how he specifically, allegedly, scammed him. Gary, 28, says he deposited £500 for trading signals to Instagram at Kez the Guru. He says within the first 2 days he made 160, but from then onwards it was loss after loss until the full 500 was blown within weeks. Months later, he realised neither Hamilton or the other person were regulated by the FCA. He got his deposit back from Dan after threatening to report him to the regulator, but not by Kieran apparently. And it says here, like, the Financial Conduct Authority have actually added his Instagram page to its warning list. And this is just so wild, because, you know, people like give their life savings to people like this, and it's really, really bad, like, especially when they're not actually the trader themselves, they're just the ones that work off commission. And yet still to this day, this guy like flexes how rich he is on social media.
My personal villa is available to rent. It's close to the beach. You've got bars, restaurants, clubs, all at your doorstep. It's about a 5 to 10 minute walk to the beach, depending how fast you walk.
And although, like, this is obviously really sad to the people that have been allegedly scammed by this guy, the one thing that I'm really upset with is that this process hasn't actually changed him as a person. Like, I thought that he would get like a really, you know, good perspective on life and just kind of, you know, value the things that really matter in life a lot more rather than materialistic things. But it seems like he's just gone the total opposite way somehow. And I'm really interested to kind of figure out why this is. I wonder if it's just because he more concentrates on the bad experiences he had rather than the good ones. But clearly this guy has not changed at all from this experience. And it makes me think, like, is the concept actually set up to help, like, you know, give these people a better perspective? It will be interesting to see in like other episodes if other people have changed since being on the show. If you do want me to find this out and cover another episode of this show, 8,000 likes on this video and I will do that for you. And if you want to watch me cover a show that is exactly like this one, called Rich Kids Go Skint, watch this video here. I did it like over a year ago, so not many of you might have seen it, so go watch it, enjoy it, donuts, and thank you very much for dedicating the time to watch this. I loved covering this show, and yeah, I just appreciate you taking the time. So see you in the next one.